there is not, I mean, in my opinion, there's not any sign of weakness. Have you seen something in Pogacar?
No, I mean, he was pulling more faces in Jonas's first attack today than he has the whole tour. Mm-hmm. And it's funny, you're right. I think we were doing the same thing. You know, we are secretly hoping with a view that we have an exciting race on it if Tadej does crack at this stage, and also to see a glimpse that he's human because of the performances he has been doing. And the smallest thing we've looked for and found today was, see, he had to get out the saddle for the first time in this tour when Jonas attacked, and he doesn't normally get out the saddle. I mean, if that's what we're looking for, it's crazy, isn't it?
I'm the 2012 Tour de France winner, Sir Bradley Wiggins.
And I'm Johan Bruyneel. I directed my teams to 9 Tour de France victories. Welcome to the Sir Wiggo and Johan Show, our daily show where we dive deep into the tactics behind every stage of the Tour de France. Hi everybody, welcome back to our show. Today we are talking about stage 16 from Montpellier to Mont Ventoux, 171 kilometers. As every day, our show is presented by Ketone IQ. And as every day, I'm joined by Sir Bradley Wiggins. Bradley, what did you think of today's stage? What's Bradley's take of today?
Well, today was quite an exciting stage. I mean, it's such a special stage, isn't it? Mont Ventoux always is. And I was sure to be here quite early to watch the full ascent. And so much happened on the climb in different ways, obviously different dynamics, different races that were going on. But I really enjoyed the final kilometers. You know, the 4 guys, Ben Healy, who was incredible again today, battling out for the stage win. It looked like Enrico Mas had a hold on it at one point. But then the return of Soudal's Van Wilder, the Belgian, who came out of nowhere, and he looked like, at the time, I thought he was a spectator coming onto the route. He looked like he was riding an e-bike because I hadn't seen him anywhere on the climb. I didn't even know he was in the race. And you saw him gesticulating to his teammate. And it was just enough momentum that he provided in that final couple hundred meters to keep the 4 guys moving, to nullify anyone who wanted to attack off that. To set up the sprint with Ben Healy and his teammate, of course, Valentin Paré, Peintre, for the final sprint, and first French victory on this Tour de France, which was, I thought, well deserved.
Yeah, and not on a French team, unfortunately, but Van Wilder was also part of the big breakaway, and I'm gonna guess. You're right. There's 2 reasons. He went to the front to keep the momentum going because they were stopping. And also probably out of fear that maybe either Vingegaard or Pogacar could come from the back, because if they keep a little bit longer looking at each other, it could have been that they didn't sprint for the finish. But Van Wilder was amazing. Really, a split second decision, and as a real teammate, Peintre owes him the victory today.
But before we go on, Johan, I just want to talk about one of our sponsors, Element. Of course, you hear me talk about it all the time. We do on the show, on the main show. We're all users of this product. 1,000 milligrams of sodium, 200 milligrams of potassium, 60 milligrams of magnesium. No sugar, no gluten, no artificial ingredients, no BS. The real deal. And best of all, if you don't like it, you can give it to a friend and Element will refund you. The Element sample packs doubles down on our most popular flavors: citrus salt, raspberry salt, watermelon salt, which is my favorite, and orange salt. This offer is available for new and returning customers. This offer is exclusively available through partners like The Move. You won't find this offer publicly anywhere else. We offer no questions asked refunds on all orders. You don't even have to send it back. Get your free 8-count sample pack of Element's most popular drink mix flavors with any purchase of drinklmnt.com/the move. That's drinklmnt.com/the move. And find your favorite Element flavor or share with a friend. Be sure to try the new Element Sparkling, a bold 16-ounce can of sparkling electrolyte water.
Okay, Bradley, I have another take of the day.
Yes,
my take of the day is when I started to watch the broadcast, I saw Richard Virenque being the special guest of ASO in Tour de France, and who was a guest in the car of race director Christian Prudhomme. Richard Virenque, also the last French winner on Mont Ventoux. I think 2002, probably.
2002, 23 years ago.
Yeah, 2002. From a breakaway, he was actually on the same team that won today. He was on Domo Farfritz, which is Patrick Lefevre's team.
Yeah.
And I have a really nice story about that, Bradley. So we were in the lead. It was the same kind of stage, easier stage, and then just the Ventum. And I was very fortunate to have Robin Williams, rest in peace, as my special guest in the car. And I was a guest of him being the comedian in the car. It was nonstop, one-man show. Robin Williams. I was dead. I was laughing so hard, and I couldn't concentrate on the race. And it wasn't really necessary because there was a big breakaway. The team had it under control until about 20K before the foot of the Mont Ventoux. I had to say to Robin, I said, Robin, I'm sorry, but now I need to do my job. I need to concentrate on the race. I need to give instructions to the guys. So would it be okay if you just, don't be so funny anymore? And he just went from here to completely silent. Didn't say a word anymore. For that, and the whole Ventoux, he was super quiet, and as soon as we crossed the finish line and in the downhill, because we had to drive down to the hotel, he was going again. So I still have that fresh in my memory. Such a special moment to have to be able to share with Robin Williams. He was a huge bike fan. He was.
I know. I had breakfast with him once. We were at the start of the Tour of California in 2008. I was on the same team as George then, High Road. We were having breakfast in San Francisco, overlooking Alcatraz, and Robin lived in San Francisco, didn't he? So he came along to see George, and he had the whole of our table. It was 8 riders from the race to staff, and he had us all mesmerized and entertained for about 20 minutes doing impressions, and he was doing impressions of Vladislav Ekimov in Russian and recounting stories, but it was incredible. A great experience.
It was a genius. He was a genius. It was unbelievable.
And he had quite a bike collection as well, didn't he?
Bike collection, yeah, exactly. Yeah. Exactly. He had a lot of special bikes. Yeah. Anyway, the stage of today, Bradley. So we have a big breakaway from the beginning. Different groups. First 3 guys, then a lot of guys get together. Surprisingly, there's 2 Vismas in there. Maybe not so surprisingly, but also 2 riders from UAE. Who was it? Marc Soler and Pavel Sivakov. But I think we kind of knew since Tige Benoot and Victor Kampenaerts in the break. The purpose was obviously not to try to win the stage, but to be there when Jonas.
And they both did, didn't they? They both offered assistance.
And they both did. So that was actually great. When we get to the bottom of the climb, we have Visma in the main peloton. We have Visma start to do a tempo with Wout van Aert, who does an amazing lead out, and then Simon Yates a bit, Sepp Kuss, Jonas attacks, but straight away we see that Tadej is on the wheel.
Do you think, Johan? Do you think the way Visma set up today? I mean, they did a great job in executing that plan, but what do they do differently between now and on the next 2 climbs, La Plagne, Col de la Loze, Glandon, all these climbs to come? I mean, because Jonas had, I think, one of his best days in the Tour today.
Yeah, he was really good. I honestly, Bradley, I don't think there's anything different they can do.
No,
they need to keep testing Tadej and hope for that 1 week moment, which can happen. It can happen, right? We've been reading a little bit about lingering illness or sore throat. I don't know how much of that is true. Doesn't look like he's sick to me. the way he reacts, but they did things the way they should have done. Just you can only try and put the pressure on and hope that, and maybe also the psychological effect of the Ventoux was, after all, the first time that Jonas dropped Tadej in 2000. Was it 21?
21.
Yeah, 2021. Yeah. So. So yeah, I mean, I think they did the right thing. They're probably going to do the same thing. What else can they do? I mean, what else could they do?
I'm not too sure. I mean, the only thing that they can hope for in executing a plan like that again is that there's more climbs before the last climb. So multiple climbs during the day. But obviously the risk of that is they blow themselves up and Jonas. But he's, one thing I have respect for Jonas in doing is that he's not lying down and accepting second place in this Tour de France.
No, absolutely not. No, he's trying.
Yeah.
I think if they want to use the same tactics, and I think they will, the other two stages are probably more suited for it because, if and then Jonas would have to go on the second last climb. Yeah. Because ultimately, whoever you have in the break, Bradley, it's going to be, if it's Kampenaerts again or Benoot or even Van Aert, on the last climb, whether it's La Plagne or Col de la Loze, those are two really hard. There's not much they can do because once Jonas is at his speed, there's not much they will be able to do. So I think, from that point of view, they need to send riders in the break and then hope that Jonas can attack on the second last climb of the day.
Yeah.
What is it? Is it the Madeleine or the Glandon or the stage of La Loze? And then the other one, I don't remember now.
La Plagne.
They're hard climbs, right? They're really hard climbs. Then again, they're all on their limit, right? It's not like, Jonas is definitely at a really good level, but in order to, you have to be much better than your rival to be able to drop him and then keep him in distance, because I don't think Pogačar will be alone either. He will also probably have a guy like Sivakov or a guy like Soler in the break, or Wellens, right? But hey, man, they keep trying. That's the good thing, I think it was nice to see that Jonas, he attacked 3 times, right? Jonas?
Yeah.
Tadej attacked once and saw that he couldn't, then at the end, but he saw he couldn't drop him. He had dropped him a bit, I think, but I think they're quite even actually for the moment. I think the difference is made. It's, what is it now, 4 minutes 15?
Or 15, and then Jonas has got a 5-minute cushion to the third in Lipovic.
Yeah.
So whatever he does try, he's not going to lose 5 minutes if he cracks and lose second on GC.
So the situation right now is that he can really play everything to win and not lose anything he has, right? So I think we're going to see 2 very, very, very nice stages. But Bradley, before we talk about how it developed at the end between those 4 guys, today the record was broken of the Mont Ventoux. So it was Iban Mayo who had the record from a time trial in 2004. It was 55 minutes 51 seconds. So Dauphiné, which is 8 days, so I'm going to guess, if I remember correctly, it was the 4th or the 5th day probably, after 4 days of racing, an individual time trial. And today is after 16 stages and after a long stage. And he broke it, Pogačar and Jonas broke the record by 1 minute and 10 seconds, I think. I think 3rd and 4th and 5th, or the guys who just came behind, which was Roglic and Lipovic, and who was it? Only then the next guy.
Only,
they were also very close to either they broke it or very close to the record of Mario. But if you compare this with other times, and I think this is really amazing. So if you remember, Chris Froome won on the Ventoux when he dropped Contador and then Quintana. 4 minutes slower. 58 minutes, 47 seconds, 4 minutes slower than today.
Right.
When Lance was there with Pantani, Lance did 59 minutes. Andy Schleck, when had the fastest time in 2009, was 58 minutes, 45. Do you remember your time?
I think I was a minute down on Andy that day, so sub 1 hour.
No, you were not. You were less than a minute. You were 38 seconds down. You did 59.
Okay.
So you did more or less the same time as Lance in 2002. So, but it's 4.5 minutes slower than Pogačar and Vingegaard today.
Yeah. I'll take that. I'll take that.
And
Still faster than Jean-François Bernal in 1987.
Okay, yeah. Yeah, he was on his way to winning,
which was a time trial also. That was a time trial also.
It was a time trial. He was on La Vie Claire or Toshiba. I don't remember what it was, but he was on his way to winning the Tour, and I think the day after, 2 days after, he lost the yellow jersey on a puncture. Not on a puncture. He had a puncture.
Yeah, puncture was it?
Yeah. Anyways, we're going to talk a little bit about the way it developed. First, I want to talk about our presenting sponsor, Ketone IQ. We all know that ketones are widely used in endurance sports. I personally use it all the time. This is my preferred format, the 10-gram shot. No sugar, no caffeine. So it's been scientifically proven that ketones do boost the athletic performance. In a placebo-controlled environment with trained athletes, Ketone IQ boosted average sprint power by 19%, peak power by 13%. It cut fatigue by 10% and spiked blood ketones 5 times in 20 minutes. They also discovered that ketones help for a faster recovery. Ketone IQ recently teamed up with Visma Leasebike, as we all know. They're the official ketone sponsor, and with the University of Leuven to explore recovery and high-altitude adaptation. Their key findings are improved blood flow, higher muscle oxygenation for better endurance and stamina. So take your shot. Go to ketone.com/themove and use the code THEMOVE at checkout for 20% off. So ketone.com/themove using the code THEMOVE. Bradley, the way the stage was won. So we see Enric Mas does an amazing attack. Personally, when we had those 3 riders who started together, was Enric Mas and Alaphilippe and Arendsman.
Yeah.
Who did you think was going to win?
Yeah.
Me too.
I actually didn't think anyone from that group would win. I still thought that the yellow jersey group would catch them in some form, whether it was Tadej on his own or Tadej and Jonas. But that, obviously they got to within 40 seconds, I think, by the finish. But no, I know how long Ventum is, and I know it's a long old slog. And really at that point, I think it had 5 minutes 30 when they hit that climb. Mm-hmm. I thought if Tadej launches like he did at Hautecam, or, Jonas starts attacking earlier than he did, then that gap would have come down quite quickly. But it wasn't to be. And the first attacks didn't really come till Chalet Renard, I don't think. Mm-hmm. So I still at that point didn't think that any one of those guys would hold out on the 1 hour climb.
Yeah. Well, finally, it was none of those 3. Like Ben Healy. I think Ben Healy is just on incredible form. He moved up in the GC. He moved up in GC, right? So he passed Carlos Rodriguez again, I'm guessing.
Yeah. He's up to 9th now. What a great tour he's having.
Yeah, and solidly in 9th, and he's getting closer to Tobias Johannesson, who, by the way, I don't know if you read that, had a little problem after the finish. They had to kind of take him away with oxygen. Was carried away in the ambulance. But then afterwards, Thor Hushovd came out with a statement that it was the stomach problems, and then he collapsed in the bus. But that he was on his way back to the bus, and he was fine. But obviously, if you have a hit like this in the next 2 mountain stages, that's not good. We haven't seen him at all today. No,
we didn't see him at all. No.
And then Parapantre, Healy, and Buitrago come back to Enric Mas. There it's clear that Enric didn't have it. It was headwind also at the end, so that apparently from Chalet Renard to the finish was headwind. But then, you kind of think, okay, one of these 3 is going to win, but they kept going and stopping and going and stopping. Obviously, I think that the luck of Parapantre and Buitrago was that Healy had an incentive to gain a spot or 2 spots in GC, don't you think?
Yeah. You just don't know. I mean, you just don't know with these. I mean, Ben Healy looked like he was racing for the stage win and not GC, which was incredible, really. I mean, after the Tour de France he's had, and also, yeah, I mean, also watching that this morning, it was on again to get into the break. I mean, it was on for a long time.
50K an hour every day.
And Niels Pollitt was, once again, doing an incredible job. And there was some talk on the commentary that I was watching that Niels might get a yellow card tonight for intimidation, which is ridiculous.
For fighting with someone else or something?
Like well, no, I mean,
yelling,
he wasn't physically
at
fighting. No, not even yelling, just being a presence and making a nuisance of himself in terms of marshalling everything.
Okay.
So
I think it's difficult to get a yellow card for that.
Yeah, exactly. But it's incredible how you even marshal that and who decides that. But yeah, I mean, UAE, they did a great job in letting that thing go this morning. But in the end, a big break went. And to be honest, I never expected any of them to make it to the top of that climb, but there was quite a few in there that did.
Yeah.
Just about. Yeah. Because Tadej and Jonas were closing down quite quickly.
Yeah. Yeah, and also Bradley, I've heard on I mean, I'm always switching channels to listen to different commentaries and sometimes in different languages. And I heard today and also a few analysts, like people saying, "Oh, today, look at his facial expression. Look, he lost half a meter." It's like we're trying to cling on something to find something that, in my opinion, is not there. Jonas is obviously back to his really, really top good level, but there is not, I mean, in my opinion, there's not any sign of weakness. Have you seen something in Pogacar?
No, I mean, he was pulling more faces in Jonas's first attack today than he has the whole tour. And it's funny, you're right. I think we were doing the same thing. We are secretly hoping, with a view that we have an exciting race on it if Tadej does crack at this stage, and also to see a glimpse that he's human because of the performances he has been doing. And the smallest thing we've looked for and found today was, see, he had to get out the saddle for the first time in this tour when Jonas attacked, and he doesn't normally get out the saddle. I mean, if that's what we're looking for, then it's crazy, isn't it? I mean,
I personally think, for all these people who are looking, unless he's sick, I don't think it's going to happen.
There was even one comment today that, look, he's on his light bike. That must mean that he's looking for every possible piece of weight gain as opposed to the painted bike.
If you have,
but it is strange. That's the level of his dominance that we are looking at any small thing.
I mean, they did really a good job. They got because when I was at the tour, I saw the bikes there. Was for the stage of Hotakam, so he used the aero bike, but the painted one in the world in the rainbow. Machin told me they got it down to 7.1 kilos. Then he used a super light one for the time trial, and now this is, I think, a different one still, but it's down to 6.9 kilos. So it's only 100 grams heavier than the minimum weight. Plus, if you would think on a stage like today, especially if it's just one climb, a lot of flats, plus on Mont Ventoux, especially from Chalet Renard to the finish, the speeds are also above 20 kilometers per hour, I guess. I think that's the end of the climbing bikes. Every single brand is going to make super light aero bikes, which is going to be used all the time now by the champions, don't you think?
Yeah, I think you're right. I think it's definitely, even now riding skins. When I watched the Froome stuff, they were showing the footage of Froome in 2016 climbing up there. So 9 years ago, and he's still got bib shorts and a jersey on. Now everyone's wearing skin suits on the climb.
You guys at Sky were the guys who started with that. I think
we started with filled-in helmets and skin suits at the Giro in 2010. And I remember rolling out on one of the stages in the Giro for the flat stage. We wore filled-in helmets and a skin suit. And Filippo Pozzato came up to us and he's going, "Hey, cazzo fai, yo, Sky." Yeah. He's going, like we were crazy.
Pretty sure you were getting laughed at. I am 100% sure that was just not done.
I was the first rider to do a warm down after a stage on a turbo trainer. Yeah, we brought a lot of stuff in. But do you know who the first rider ever to wear a skin suit in a road stage of the Tour de France was?
I don't know. Eddie Merckx?
1986, the Col de Bisque, Stephen Roach wore
Stephen
for La
Roach.
Redoute. Stephen Roach wore. He said it was a silk skin suit because the stage was 40 kilometers. It was a split stage. And he won in the morning. And La Redoute was, of course, he had a pursuiter in there, Alain Bondu.
Yeah.
And Bondu said, why don't you wear a skin suit for this? It'll be quicker. So Stephen went to the start with a normal jersey on over his skin suit because he thought everyone would go, hey, what are you doing? You're crazy. And he took it off during the stage, 40-kilometer stage, and he won solo that day. Yeah.
Wow. Yeah. Okay. So he was the trendsetter.
He was the first official.
Yeah.
Well, Merckx, when Merckx did the hour record, that was one of the first skin suits ever made.
Actually, you know what? I think I sent you the pictures a long time ago. I didn't have your number yet. We were communicating on Instagram. Yeah. And I paid a visit to my first team director when I was a pro. It was Ferdinand Braque.
Yeah.
Who was third of the Tour, won the Vuelta, and had the hour record. And he showed me he still had his skin suit. It was handmade, specially made. It was basically a silk shirt was sewed to the pants.
Oh, yeah.
And zipper at the back. Yeah. That was for the hour record also.
Yeah.
Okay. Bradley, one thing I'm seeing about Pogačar, we've said it already many times, like today was another example of him racing really more mature, more calculated, more conservative, especially because he doesn't have to, right? Because we're all thinking, okay, if Ventum is going to come, he's going to go and going to explode everything. He just doesn't. No. Do you think that's because he feels like he doesn't have the power to drop Jonas, or just because he says, okay,
well, I think that he's won this Tour de France and he's won 4 stages, and he's not getting carried away with the hype of us wanting entertainment.
Yeah.
So he's riding as he should ride, rather, he's not a performing monkey, but we all want him to go on every climb and break the thing to pieces and for our entertainment. But he's actually racing it as he should be racing it now with a 4-minute 15 lead with the team as strong as Visma. And so he's doing the correct thing with some really tough stages still to come in this race. And, he's not getting carried away with our expectations of him because he's so great, because of his exploits in the last 2 years in the sport. We're putting a lot of expectation on him, really, and me especially. I'm wanting him to do everything on these climbs that all of us only ever dream of.
As a spectator, I would like to see that. If I would be his director, I would love the way he's racing.
Yeah.
He is playing it safe. He doesn't need to, always keep a few bullets in case you need it.
Yeah, and also he's now on the verge of history as well, in the sense that creating history, the first since Eddie Merckx. He's now 9 points off the green jersey. He now went back into the King of the Mountains jersey after today's performance. VDP, Matthews out of the race, who was a big challenger for that green jersey. So now he's looking like a strong favourite to take all those jerseys over the next few stages.
Yeah, I think that's his goal. And I think the green jersey is going to come to him without even going for it. He's going to score. He's going to score the points in those 2 mountain stages, and then even if he has to try, or if it's tight, there's the last stage. To go for it, and especially with Van der Poel out. I'm not putting it past him that he could potentially win the last stage in Paris.
Yeah. You wouldn't discount him.
Yeah, no. Okay, Bradley. Before we talk about tomorrow's stage, we'll do our daily Ventum trivia as every day. Yesterday's question was, which rider holds the record for the longest successful solo breakaway starting from Carcassonne in 1947? There was 4 potential answers: Louison Bobet, Albert Bourlon, Jean Robic, or André Maillet. The correct answer was answer B, Albert Bourlon. It's the only guy of the 4 that I didn't know, but He won the longest breakaway in 1947 from Carcassonne. Stage 16 question, today's question is, in 2016, race leader and eventual winner Chris Froome famously ran up a portion of the slopes of the Mont Ventoux. Why was he forced to run? Why was Chris Froome forced to run? I still see those images. That was quite hectic, right?
Incredible.
First he ran, then I think he got a spare bike from the neutral car. And do you actually know, this is not part of the question, do you know what happened? What the UCI commissaires decided after that?
No.
Yeah, which was also a bit strange. They actually gave Froome the same time.
I remember that, yeah.
Because
he technically lost the jersey that day to Simon Yates.
Yes. Yes, he did. Yeah. Simon Yates was on Green Edge, I would think.
Green Edge, yeah.
So send your best guess if you know the answer to ventumracing.com, and you can enter into our contest to win this year's grand prize. It is $5,000 of store credit towards any Ventum bike you want to purchase on the site. If you don't want to wait for the end of the tour, you can get 10% off the whole site during the remainder of the Tour de France using the code TheMove10, and even more, 20% off any NS1 bike with the code NS120. So ventumracing.com/themove. Tomorrow stage, Bradley, what do you think? 160 kilometers from Boulogne to Valence.
There's a lot going on tomorrow. I would anticipate, everyone's going to want to try and get in the breakaway, aren't they? It's one of the last few stages where, without it being a summit finish, that many riders and many teams can grab a stage. There's a lot of pressure on a lot of teams now that haven't won stages. But at the same time,
15 teams have not won anything.
Yeah. There is that intermediate sprint after 47 kilometers tomorrow. So you would imagine that Little Trek will go all in for that, for Jonathan Milan.
They have to. They have no other choice.
It could be a bunch sprint tomorrow. I think the race is very tired at the moment. And I think, there'll be... I can see it staying together till that sprint because it's in a lot of people's interests. And depending what happens in that sprint with Jonathan, the race will then, a breakaway will go on that climb afterwards, the fourth category. And that could be 25, 30 riders. And that could be enough to whittle down and take 5 or 6 minutes. I think UAE will be happy to let that go.
Yeah.
They will ride. And I think we'll see a very similar, a group of 20, 25 riders, 5 or 6 minutes up the road. UAE will hold it at that. And then the stage win will come from that group in some form, whether riders attack again or not. And I think that's the most likely thing that will happen tomorrow.
Yeah. Another scenario could be that obviously Little Trek wants the sprint, the intermediate sprint, but they also need actually to be sure points at the finish. And they could be joined by Soudal Quickstep. Because Tim Merlier is still in this. Okay, they're 2 riders down, right? And they have 4 stages already. But once you're in this winning mood, they might. It's for Tim Merlier. It's tomorrow or the second last stage.
Yeah.
He has won 2 stages already, right? So, I think the breakaway scenario is probably more likely.
Yeah.
We'll talk about that tomorrow, as every day in our show. Thank you, Bradley.
Okay, thanks, man.
Okay,
see you tomorrow.
Bye.